Hi everyone, Cody here. Welcome back to the remains of what was my garden. It is a little bit chilly out and a lot of these plants have long had the biscuit, as you can see, but that hasn't stopped me from planning for next year of what I want to grow, what I will probably not grow, as well as some plants I'd like to keep trying on that I haven't been successful in the past, and also plants that I'm pretty much guaranteed to get as volunteers. So I just made a list on my phone of some of these plants, and I would just like to share them with you. So number one is kale. As you may know, I love kale and I definitely want to keep growing that. I think that's enough to be said about that. It's just something I'll definitely grow again, especially since I have perennial kale down that way, and which will come back. It's a special variety that's perennial. I've probably mentioned that several times before, but I'll keep growing kale. And number two on the list is peppers. I grew some peppers this year, but next year I plan to actually grow quite a few more peppers, just because peppers are so expensive in the grocery store these days. It's like, just a bag of like 3 peppers is $9 at the local grocery store. So yeah, I think if I can grow more peppers, particularly bell peppers, I think that would be a wise investment for this garden. And so number 3 is tomatoes. Yeah, I think I could do with more tomatoes. I grew some tomatoes this year, but I didn't plan to grow a lot of them because I still had a whole bunch of tomatoes from the year before in the freezer. But I canned those tomatoes, and so I think for next year I'll need a new supply. So if I can grow a whole bunch of tomato plants again like I normally do for next year, I think that would be a pretty wise decision. Number 4 is potatoes. Potatoes has always been a very good crop for us. They always grow really well here. They're super prolific and they make a lot of potatoes, and it's just something that if you're hungry you can really fill up on potatoes. So if we could grow maybe the same amount or a little bit more than this past season, I think that'd be a pretty good choice. Also onions, same diff, although we haven't even used all our onions in that garden because I guess they didn't really grow that big. Maybe they were a small variety, but I do use them quite a bit, but I just planted so many of them, so that's probably why I didn't use them all, just because there was so many. So if last year's onions direct sowed this year, then I should get volunteers for next spring. So I don't think I'll have to buy too many onion bulbs or onion seeds for that matter, because they would already be growing. And then this past season's onions next year will be flowering and will drop their seeds for the year after. And so it'd be, I think a lot of the onions are going to be a succession planting style, volunteer succession, if that makes any sense to you. Beans, yeah, beans always do super well. We get tons of beans out our ears every year, although they haven't been one that's really good for me to save the seeds from for some reason. Like, they don't mature and dry on the plant by the end of the season. So I was hoping to save bean seeds this past year, but they just didn't mature in time before the frost hit and killed them all, and now they're all mushy on the plant. That happened last year too. I don't know, just not a long enough growing season, or it's a variety of beans I'm planting, but I'll have to probably buy bean seeds online or just at a store or something. We'll see about that. Number 7 is lettuce. Now, same thing with those lettuce heads. They did super well. They were some of the best tasting lettuce that I've ever grown, and they grew really well, but they didn't really set seed by the end of the season. Like normally they would go to fluff like a dandelion, and they didn't really do that. So I don't know if I'll get any really much for volunteer lettuce next year, but what I'll probably do is I'll end up buying the same type of lettuce seed I had last year or just this past growing season and grow that next year, and for the best for next year. Number 8 on the list is Swiss chard. Now, I love Swiss chard. It's a really good eating leafy green, really good for cooking with, like great for stir fries and that sort of thing. Actually canned a whole bunch of Swiss chard, and so it would be something I'd just like to continue to grow just because it's really good, and nothing wrong with Swiss chard, so I think I'll grow more of that. Number 9 on the list is peas. Now, I didn't really grow many peas this past growing season. Don't really know why. I guess they kind of got overcrowded by the morning glories on the bean pole, and so I didn't get a lot of peas. But I got a lot of chickpeas, the garbanzo beans. And so I just let those dry on the plant, and then I saved the seeds from that. So I got a whole bunch of chickpeas I can plant again, although I don't know if I'd be eating them or just saving the same seeds from those, just growing them just because kind of thing. But regular garden peas, I would like to grow more of those because they're also good eating right off the plant. Number 10 is carrots. Now, carrots, we could always use more carrots. That's just something that we use a lot of in this household, and if I can grow more of them, then we won't have to buy them as often, although carrots don't really cost very much, but garden carrots are always way better anyways. So if I can dedicate like a large space to just carrots, I think that would be a pretty good idea. Okay, I just noticed I had lettuce written down twice. Okay, number 11, the same as number 7, lettuce. I don't know how that happened. Okay, number 12, I would like to grow more of, this isn't a vegetable, it's a herb, chamomile. I use a lot of chamomile in my teas and tea blends. It's just a herb I love to drink in the form of tea, but I never really get a lot of it when I grow it myself. And so if I can grow like a whole, even like a whole bed dedicated to chamomile, I could get a lot more for winter use, so I won't have to buy bagged chamomile all the time or tea bags. Number 13 I would like to grow more of is sunflowers. Now, sunflowers are very beautiful. They're great for pollinators, and I grew a few sunflowers, but I think if I could grow more of them, it would just make the garden a much happier place, as is, if it isn't happy already. Number 14, I would like to grow more broccoli, but if I can get a larger head variety, that'd probably be better, because these broccolis over here, they did make heads, but they were like super tiny, and it was like a huge plant taking up so much space for only a little bit of a broccoli head on each plant. So if I can grow a larger sprouting variety, I think that'd be probably better, and one that doesn't really bolt so easily. Like these ones didn't bolt, but we've had broccoli in the past bolt pretty quickly, so yeah, that'd probably be a good one too. And I would also like to grow more cucumbers, particularly because I got a lot of cucumber seeds saved from just the few cucumbers I had growing in the bean patch. So I'll just have to give those seeds a try, and if I can grow more of them, then the more the merrier. So that is the top 15 plants I plan to grow again. Now here is a list of the top 10 plants that I plan to probably not grow next year. So number 1 is corn. It's been like 3 years in a row now. Corn's performed very poorly, undeveloped kernels. I don't know, I'm just doing something wrong. Maybe I'm not planting them in thick enough blocks, or just not, maybe it's environmental conditions that haven't been good for it, or just not enough pollination, or some reason the corn I've grown the past few years has just not done very well. So I might just dedicate that space to plants that actually grow well and that I actually prefer to eat. So probably not corn, but I might do corn next year. Just depends on how the garden plan comes along. Number 2 is okra. Now, I got a few okra pods. I don't even know if I really showed you them, but the plants didn't grow very tall at all. They were like that tall at the most. But I got a few pods and I made some gumbo with it. Just a vegan kind of a gumbo. But I don't know if it's really worth the space to plant more okra when it didn't perform very well. Like, I think it probably just wasn't, either wasn't hot enough or just wasn't the right conditions. I don't know, but okra probably not gonna be on my list for 2024. Now number 3 on the list of plants I'll probably not grow again is, you're gonna be surprised at this one, golden berries. Now you may know that I love golden berries. I actually got several ripe golden berries off the bushes, but they just take up so much space, and I only got, like, for the amount of actual golden berries I got ripe off the plant, it's probably not really worth taking up so much space because they're huge, massive plants. And so as much as I love them, I'll probably not grow golden berries in 2024. Number 4 on the plants I'll probably not grow is lima beans. Now, I love lima beans, but the plants that I grow really don't have a lot of lima beans on them. It's just like a few pods here and there with just a couple beans in them. And when you can really, as a comparison, you can get a whole can of lima beans at the grocery store, and it would take like a whole garden plot to make 1 can. So yeah, as much as I love lima beans, it's just not really practical in my opinion. Number 5 is ashwagandha. Now, I actually grew some pretty nice ashwagandha this past growing season, but I don't know, I think there's other adaptogenic herbs that seem to work better for me. Like reishi mushroom, for example, that seems to just be more suited to my needs, and so I probably won't dedicate as much space to ashwagandha just because it's, I don't know, it's just not my adaptogen of choice. Number 6 is lentils. Now, lentils, just like the lima beans, they don't really produce a large volume of actual lentils. And so I would grow like quite a few plants and only get a few lentils off each plant. They're very small, compact plants, but I only got like a little handful of dried lentil seeds that I saved, and so it's just really not another practical one in my opinion, so I'll probably leave that off the list. Number 7 is eggplants. Now, I didn't even grow eggplants this past growing season. I grew them the year before, but this year I didn't miss them. It's just not really my favorite vegetable, and I don't know, it's just not really my cup of tea, although there's nothing wrong with them, they're just not my favorite. So Number 8 is broad beans. Now, just like the lentils and the lima beans, I only grew a couple broad bean plants, and they only grew like a couple beans on each plant, and it's really not practical either. And a lot of these legumes are not very practical. And so, yeah, I think I'll not go out of my way to buy broad bean seeds. Number 9 is radishes. Now, I've tried and tried and tried, but radishes, they just, the roots go all woody on them and they bolt so quickly. And it's probably supposed to be a very cool season crop, but I haven't had much success with radishes, and it's not really my favorite vegetable anyways, not my favorite flavor, so I don't think I'll attempt to grow radishes. Number 10, this is one I'll probably definitely not grow, is peanuts. I tried growing peanuts for the first time this past growing season, and there weren't any actual peanuts at the very end of the season underground. They were just the rotted seeds that I had originally planted. I got a little bit of a plant, but it's just didn't perform well at all. Was very disappointed, and I don't think I'd be up to that kind of disappointment next year, just because I know they need a really long growing season, which we just don't have. So peanuts, not gonna happen in 2024. Okay, now here's a list of unsuccessful plants I will keep trying for, just because I want them so badly, but they just haven't delivered, either in seeds just not germinating or just not growing so well and just dying or what have you. Number 1 is the strawberry spinach. I just want to grow that plant so bad. Every year I plant it, it just doesn't grow very well. I've tried sowing it indoors first, but the transplanting outside, it dies, so I don't know why. But I'll keep trying, because that's a plant that I really like. I've tried it before. It grows wild around here too, so I don't know why it doesn't do well here. But yeah, I'll definitely give strawberry spinach a try again, as well as regular spinach. But I think I'd like to search for a slow to bolt variety, because spinach always bolts so fast when you first plant it. It's like you can't even get a chance to try the leaves before it's already bolted. So if I could get, or at least plant it somewhere where it's not so sunny, maybe that would be better. But yeah, I'll definitely keep trying the spinach, like regular spinach, because I really like it. Number 3 is marjoram. That's a really good spice that can actually be used as a tea. I haven't had success growing it. I've tried planting it several times, but if I could just get it established and growing somewhere, and then I think that would make my garden a better place. Marshmallow. I just tried growing it last year and just didn't grow for some reason. So I'll try again. I think I still have some seeds left over. So I've had other kinds of mallows grow really well, like the musk mallow and the tall mallow and the dwarf mallow, but I really like marshmallow as well. So yeah, marshmallow is a herb, people. If you haven't heard of it, you could look it up. It's a really good medicinal herb for problems with digestion and breathing and all that sort of thing. So yeah, I definitely like to give marshmallow another try. Same with hollyhocks, which are related to marshmallows. Yeah, I haven't had much success with hollyhocks either, but I would like to keep trying. California poppies. I've tried, I've grown them before, but just haven't really got them to do well. Every year I plant them, and most years they don't really show up for some reason, so I think I just really like to try again with those ones, just because I use California poppy as a tincture, and it works pretty well for like insomnia and that sort of thing, but if I could grow it myself, that would be really worthwhile, I think. And the bread seed poppies, they've done so well for so many years, and this year there's just tiny little heads like that, and I don't know what really happened. The garden they were in, just right over there, got moved to make way for this garden, and so when I moved them to the shadier location, they just didn't really perform so well, and so I don't really have seeds to save from those, so I'll probably end up buying more bread seed poppy seeds. Number 8 is cucamelons. Yeah, I've tried and tried with the cucamelons a couple years, but they just, if I could get them to grow a little bit, but they never produce a cucamelon for some reason, so I don't know. I'll have to keep trying because I really want to try a cucamelon. They just don't sell cucamelons in the grocery stores. They're kind of a specialty kind of a fruit. Number 9 is lemon balm. I have a lemon balm plant, but it's not doing so well. And so I might just have to find a better spot for it, or maybe propagate it a bit, take some cuttings and root them and plant them elsewhere. More lemon balm would be a much desired plant in my garden. So number 10, try planting it this past growing season, but it didn't take off, is the mugwort, the Artemisia vulgaris. I have Artemisia absinthium, but it's not quite the same. I thought I had mugwort, but it just turned out it was wormwood, and so I would like to try to grow actual mugwort, and I do have the seeds for that, but I'll have to keep trying with that one. So those are the top unsuccessful plants I will keep trying for. And as for the plants almost guaranteed to have as volunteers, this is a pretty self-explanatory one, just because I've seen it year after year. These plants keep coming back, guaranteed to get them. Stinging nettle, borage comfrey, strawberries, rhubarb, marigolds and calendula, alfalfa, mint, valerian, and verbena. Yeah, just a little list of my plans for the coming growing season. Now, of course, those plans can change over the winter. You know how plans tend to change over winter time. But I think even if I look back on this video for reference, it'll help me decide which seeds I would like to buy, which would be very helpful. So I hope this inspires you to get growing something this next year, and maybe I've helped you choose some plants that you would like to grow. You never know. Just my list of what's worked for me, what hasn't, and so I just thought I'd like to put it out there on what might work for you and what might not work for you, based on practicalities and all that sort of thing. So, well, thanks so much for spending time with me today. It's great to get out and do another garden video, even when it's not really the height of gardening season, but it's always just good to plan ahead and just see where the season takes you. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, happy growing, everyone.